So, welcome to Hack the Real Sides podcast with Heather, Ashley, and myself, Keira. And we dive into the personal journeys of people in the entertainment industry with a little bit of cheeky fun. And today we are interviewing the lovely Mr. Chris Cortez. So, Chris started his career as a stuntman. He's done Cirque du Soleil and he is heading into acting now. He's been in The Rookie. He's been doing stunts in Space Force. Yeah. And you have a very exciting Apple TV project that's coming up, but we'll talk about that later. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, guys.
We like to start off a little bit with a bit of a debate. Now, which one of you girls, because I just don't get it, which one of you guys going to take it?
I think.
All right. So I just want to know the game where you do this. What do you call it?
Oh, I think, I either call it rock, paper, scissors or Rochambeau.
Or what?
He's like throwing something completely new at us.
Yeah, I get Rochambeau from Cartman in South Park.
You've never heard of it called Rochambeau?
No.
I don't know why it's called Rochambeau. I just knew that's what it was. I mean, it was just a thing that we would like, Rochambeau. All right, we'll Rochambeau over it. Or rock.
I feel like we should throw everything out and only use that word now.
Like, no idea. Like maybe I don't know where Rochambeau came from, and I never cared to like check the quality of it.
That's so weird.
Has no one here called it Rochambeau?
No.
Yeah.
Really?
But Heather, what do you call it?
Paper, rock, scissors.
Why does paper come first?
It's alphabetical.
I have never heard it ever in my life. I've never heard it called Rochambeau either, but I've never heard it called paper. I've always heard it called rock, paper, scissors. Always.
Rock, paper, scissors. Yeah.
Paper, rock, scissors, shoot.
No, we never said to shoot.
About the lineup of how, like, what beats what. So rock.
Because they all go in a circle, don't they? You can start with
But paper beats rock.
Yeah. So it's like rock, paper beats rock. Scissor beats paper. Rock.
I'm sorry. Did y'all say that paper beats rock?
Yeah.
Paper beats rock. It wraps the rock up.
I thought no.
What?
The rock can crush.
Rock.
I thought the rock was like the best of everything because it can crush the scissors.
Well, then wouldn't people just throw rock every time? Damn it! It's another tie. Go again.
I would just throw a gun. Then I'd be like rock, paper, scissors, gun.
Yeah.
Or do like Joey on Friends and be like fire.
Fire. Or like with a spot.
Maybe I did. Okay, rock beats paper. No, paper beats rock. And
rock beats scissors. Scissors beats.
Scissors in.
Have you just been throwing out rock for like years now, Ashley? Being like, I am the queen of this. I never lose.
I think that's, now I'm never going to be able to win the game, but I think that was always my go-to.
That's so weird.
I mean, you're technically right, because like if someone like put a paper on the rock, I would just take the rock and push it through the paper. Because this is about destroying everything, right? Because scissors cut up the paper, and the rock will bash the scissor blades and dull them so that they're not useful anymore.
Like it is the worst attack, isn't it? Wrapping something like flimsy.
Yeah, the paper has done nothing to that rock except made it like a white rock, or like a different type of rock. It's still like equally, there's no like physical damage to that rock.
No.
Oh, all it's done is cover it. And
I just figured like it meant that the rock
get really into this. So now everybody is going to be like, why is that even a game? Like who came up with that? But what
why the hell does Ashley think rock beats everything?
Because I was, the baby of the family. So automatically I was like, I win because I said it,
Rock. Bam, bam, bam.
Rock's the winner, But now that we've loosened you up, we've got quiz questions for you.
Yes. So I've got a few little questions, a few little quiz questions, a few little trivia. So let's see how good you are at trivia. Some of them are just like, this is your personal opinion. Okay. So Are you ready?
I am.
We go down the Keira rabbit hole.
Okay.
It's a dangerous place, I warn you. Right then. So how long do you think you would survive realistically? I mean, this is very topical right now because the UK have just discovered a mutant strain of COVID-19 and it's blatantly going to end in zombies. So how long do you think you would last in a zombie apocalypse?
Ooh. Like timeline, like how long do I think I would last?
Do you reckon you'd be like one of the survivors? Do you reckon you'd die pretty quickly?
Yeah. I think I would like die halfway through a season of a show. If we were to like take it, if that season was like roughly the span of like 5 years, I'd probably be a halfway point kind of guy.
How do you think you would die?
I think I would get reckless doing something. Like I get too comfortable or like too cocky because I'm like, these zombies can't keep up, blah, blah, blah. And then I work my way into like a position where I'm like trapped and I'm like, oh,
screwed.
Ooh.
Do you think you would be like out trying to just kill a bunch of zombies and that's how you would die? Because you're like, I'm just going to kill all the surroundings, like zombies? Or
yeah, I think it would probably be like I think maybe we do a run, like a food run, and we're going out. And then I'm like, oh, we should totally get that thing. And they're like, no, it's not safe. I'm like, I can do it. Like,
it's fine.
It's fine. I got it. We're going to be okay. We need this. People need this. And I'm going to do it.
Oh, you'd die a hero though, wouldn't you?
Die a hero. Well,
a dumb hero.
I don't die because I get it right the first time. And I nail it. Everyone's like, yeah. And then I do it again the second time and the third time. And then one of the times, it's just like, I'm like at the other end of the gate and I'm like, save yourself. Make it go.
Wait, do you throw the thing that you got though? I mean, can they at least get it one more time before you die?
Yeah.
Or you take it with you.
Like the
throw
death
it over the fence so they get it.
Like my last act.
But it has to be something great. No, it has to be like a box of ramen noodles, like something so terrible that you died over. You throw it over there.
It's like some fidget spinners or something.
Toilet paper, paper towels.
Toilet paper. We need the toilet paper.
Yeah, toilet paper. I could see. That's something where I'd be like, awesome. I thought you were saying it should be something dumb and ridiculous that I end up dying for.
No,
yeah, she said ramen noodles. Is that not dumb and ridiculous?
Well, not in a zombie apocalypse. Ramen noodles are.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I mean, I guess that is pretty. I mean, I think it's just so random. Like, how funny that a little bit would chuckle if someone's like, he literally died for a packet of ramen noodles. Like,
I mean, like when society falls away, the things that you're like, will suddenly be the thing that you would kill another person for. And ramen noodles, if you're starving. Yeah.
And toilet paper.
And damn flavor packets, you know?
Do you have a favorite song from your childhood that you still secretly rock out to when no one else is around?
Oh, like secretly? I mean, I don't even know if it has to be a secret. Like, I'm happy to do it in front of everybody. You know, it's okay. So I was a big Britney Spears fan when I was younger.
Queen.
So I had the biggest crush on her. I thought she was the most beautiful woman in the entire world. I was like, no one can look that perfect. And what is it? Her Lucky album. Mm-hmm. I like know that whole album, or like I like listened to that on repeat. That was like, so like if any of those songs, like I don't know anymore, but like a few of them, if you start playing it, I know every word. Yeah.
Karaoke with Chris.
An image in a dream, and there's no one that'll wake her up. And the world keeps spinning and she keeps on winning. But tell me what happens when it stops. They go, Yeah,
oh my God, I'm loving this.
I started a little too high, and I was like, now it's like, because she's more like, esa sheta que this Hollywood girl.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm amazed.
Safe to say, when you were a teenager, if you look back into your teenage room, is it safe to say that you have Britney Spears on your walls then?
It was above my bed. Yeah.
So you could last thing at night, you could see her.
I was the top bunk, or I had a loft bed in my bunk bed, so I was like this close to her, and I would just like it was so funny because I was junior high and I was like, oh, I'm so obsessed with Britney Spears. Everyone knew Britney Spears was like the crush of my life. And they're like, she has a little sister. And I was like, one day I'll meet her. And strangely enough, I ended up booking a small like, co-star spot on Zoe 101. And we had to do set school together. And so, yeah, I got to meet Jamie Lynn and be around her. So I was like, I got back and I was like, yeah, I did it.
Did you tell her how much you loved her big sister?
No, I mean, I liked her just fine. Like Jamie, this was right.
You'll do.
This was right before she got pregnant too. So like everyone was like, what'd you do, Chris? Like,
so something you want to tell us?
Yeah, I know, right? And I was like,
this is the hack. Maybe we're hacking into some juicier secrets than we thought we were.
I love this. Love it. I'm going to throw you off now. I'm going to go for a little bit of trivia.
Okay.
You know the capital of Canada?
The capital of Canada?
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Geography is one of my worst subjects.
No one ever gets it. Girls, either of you?
Ontario?
Ottawa.
Well,
what was that, Heather?
Ottawa.
Yes, very good.
Oh.
She's a teacher. That doesn't count.
She doesn't teach geography.
I kind of do, but.
Damn it.
Nice job. You're a good teacher.
Would you rather everyone be able to read your thoughts or everyone be able to read your internet history?
Read my internet history. Go for it. All yours.
All the guys say this. What are you guys looking at on your...
No,
I want to know what's going on in the head.
No. You can read my internet history is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Internet history, feel free. I'm curious about things, you know? I want to know, you know?
I'm curious.
You know, you can, but if you want to like to go through what's in my head, it would just be like there's too much that I'd have to explain. Like it's like wait, no, see. Like at least with the internet search history, it's just sort of like you can almost see it in the wording, and you're just like, oh, okay, like
where's Britney Spears living now?
Yeah, Britney
thoughts
Spears,
are just constantly Britney Spears.
Turn dress.
Yeah.
If I met her, I'd be like, whoa, cool, you're Britney Spears. How's everything going? Are you okay?
How's life?
Anything you need to talk about?
Blink twice if you need.
You need rescuing.
Like I'm really, my heart breaks for her a little bit, and just any child star, because it's like, I mean, I experienced a little of this myself, just because when I started acting. So I started acting when I was 15, right? I guess I know that's a question later, right? We can talk about it now.
We can talk about it now.
Yeah. So I started. So like, have you ever heard of like John Robert Powers? Like, so basically, people walk through like a mall, and there's these people being like, "Your kid could be the next star. You should come to our like modeling and acting courses." I got in trouble a lot in school because I'd always want to be performing, and I'd go to the principal's office because I was like talking too much. I was up in front of the class like telling jokes, and my mom was like, I'm gonna put him in these things so that he can just get it all out there in class. And excuse me, in those classes, right, they would bring in actually representatives from like agents from LA, from really good agencies. They would bring them in. We would like audition for them. We would just do a little monologue for them, and they would talk to us. A few of them wanted me to come to LA and interview me and get to know me more. So I did that. It was cool. Great, whatever. They called me down to audition for this series regular role in a Nickelodeon pilot. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. Nothing to my resume. There's like nothing there. It's like church plays. I go, and long story short, I end up booking that series regular role. So here I am, a young kid who's like a teenager who might be in a Nickelodeon show if it gets picked up, right? Made very good money very quickly. And then I was doing commercial work and other stuff, making large amounts of money in a very short amount of time. You start to think like the world is that easy just because that's all you know. And you're like, this is what it's like in the adult world. This is easy. This is nothing. And because if it just keeps going well, you're just like, oh, it's always going to be good like this. And then you start to lose touch with reality. And so like the reason why I feel so badly for like child stars and like young singers and stuff who grew up like that, is just because like they had that, but like way in greater amounts, right? So much money, all these yes men around them. They're impressionable, and you've got people sort of using them to their own advantage and kind of like screwing up these kids' lives. They never had a chance to really see life for themselves from a very like neutral standpoint, or like at least just their standpoint. So yeah, all that to say, I feel bad for child stars, and like I think it's amazing if they come out okay.
Yeah,
like it seems like more don't than do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, I agree. That's a great insight, on the business. And I think a lot of people, get their kids into, I think people get their kids into acting for that same reason. Like, you have a lot of energy. They want you to get you into something productive. And maybe you do sports and that, and then some people, like you said, they get picked up and then they get famous, and then it's all this yes, yes, yes. And then it goes away when you're no longer a child. And then like, where do they go? So I think that's just a really good insight to the business. And that's, what we like to talk about here is the different aspects of the business. And so now we know how you got into it. So did you go to school for acting at all, or did you just, obviously you're good at stunts. We talked about that, but did you do like martial arts? What was your sports and how did you get into it?
Sure. Yeah. So kind of, so I had those like acting classes, it was really interesting because they were acting classes taught by someone who never studied acting. So it was always just kind of like, in hindsight, I was like, what were they trying to pull off? Like, those people weren't actors and they didn't study act. Like,
I took acting classes too through like a school type thing as well. I obviously didn't get picked up for any series or anything, but I do remember that like these people, like now that I've done classes, I'm like, these people did not know what they were talking about. Like,
they had no idea what they were talking about. Great people, but it's like,
yeah,
you have no right, or like, there's no credibility, right?
Right.
So, and that's how I felt actually. I stopped acting to go to college. So I went to University of California, San Diego, UCSD. They have a very strong theater program, actually. Their graduate program is top 3 in the nation. It's like NYU, UCSD, and Yale. Mm-hmm. Those are like, as far as I understand it, I don't know if that's actually true, but the undergrad program works very closely with the graduate program. And we kind of more or less have the same classes. So yeah, it was a good, strong theater program. I did that. And then I've always just been in an acting class just because I just like to do it, I mean, for a lot of the time it was me just trying to understand it. Cause I was just like, I don't get this. Like, you want me to like know all these different things about this person's history, this person's like favorite color and stuff. And like, so I would do it and I would just try to do it as me. And then the more I studied, the more I started to like, I got worse as an actor, like, because I was getting in my head. I kept trying to show the work that I had done. It was so much about like everything that I'd worked on rather than be in the scene. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so just after a long time of training and just working on it, things started to slowly make more sense. And after living life too, because I remember being a teenager, I'm like, I'm supposed to tell these stories, but I have no life experience. Like, I don't know what this is like.
Yeah.
And I have no substitutions because I just didn't know. So like, it was really nice to just be able to just work on it, not have to do it professionally for a while, going on auditions like all the time and stuff. And I can just sort of live my life and have like some experiences. Because now, like,
in college, did you audition in college, or did you just strictly do your classes and work?
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I performed in like department shows at my university, and I did commercials every now and then. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I would shoot like a thing or two, like a industrial video or like a commercial really quick. But then it just kind of became really hard to travel all over the place when I was trying to like study for finals and stuff. And I hated letting my agents down. They'd give me an audition. I'm like, I can't go. Like,
did you have your agent from when you did your shows, or how did you get your agent?
So like back in the day when I was in that John Robert Powers thing, those agents came through.
Okay.
We did our like little monologue for them, and then they called us back. So they would call us in for a meeting if they saw potential there. My agent actually found me at the pilot. Like when we were shooting the Nickelodeon pilot, she was representing somebody else, and she liked me. And so she wanted to sign me. The people that were representing me for that, it was like a one-off.
Yeah.
They wanted to keep me, obviously, but this agent was Cindy Osbrink. Osbrink is like the most, I think they're like the #1 child agency in LA.
Do you have an acting agent? Did you?
Yes.
Okay. What was your journey on getting that?
So that one's another, it's very, like the way I got my agents are very, very unique situations. It's not common for anybody to get agents this way. Because what happened, the way I've been getting my agents is I book the job first, and then an agent goes, I'll handle that contract. So when I was living in LA, or I still kind of live in LA, but like back when I started, like when I came back into the industry, which was last July of 2019, I booked a role on For All Mankind as a recurring. It was just a recurring character. It's now considered a recurring guest star. But when I got that contract, my manager had actually just left. She just quit being a manager right in time for pilot season.
I feel like I've heard different stories about managers just quitting, or even agents just quitting. Like people are representative and then they go and like call and they're not representative anymore. So
it happens. Yeah.
I've heard that.
Yeah. They can just decide they don't want to do it anymore. And if no one else picks up their clients or like their people that they're representing, then those people need to find new representation. But luckily I just, as soon as that happened, I just got that contract. And then I had a friend who was represented by my agent, Lee Keene at Sovereign Talent. And I was like, hey, how's it going? I have a recurring role. Do you want to be my agent? She was like, yeah. And which is like, you'd think she'd be like, oh yeah, of course, but it's actually really not the case. They're pretty busy as it was. It was pilot season. She did not have the bandwidth for that, but she was kind enough to take me on because she believed. And so she did. So
then you went to college. So what got you into stunting? Because that's kind of how you started.
Oh, here's another crazy story. So stunts is like a complete accident, kind of. Well, that whole physical aspect of my life, it was a complete accident because I was never training to be an acrobat. I didn't do gymnastics growing up. I didn't do anything like that. I'm very impressionable, and I've always loved superheroes, and I can defy gravity. And I was like, I want to do that too. So I would just run off of stuff and try to do flips and like just break myself. I never got hurt, but like I was just like, I want to do that. So I would try it. And then when YouTube came out, when YouTube came out, parkour videos were all over the place. So I would watch these parkour videos and be like, I'm going to do that. So I would go try to do that. And then, so that was kind of like the side thing that I did. So I was studying theater, and then I would do parkour all around our university. The dance department kind of picked up on that. They checked me out.
It's called parkour?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know what that is.
You don't know what parkour is?
I do not. I feel very...
I don't either. I'm just smiling and nodding.
Listen, if I don't know what it is, that means that maybe a listener does not know what, or they're like, what is parkour?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So parkour or free running it's this discipline of getting from point A to point B in the quickest, most efficient, and sometimes most creative way possible. So it's like, it's like, when people like climb walls, they jump, land on something, flip off of it or something. It's that when people are like running through, like ninja moves, basically.
So you
basically showing the rest of us that they are way freaking cooler than us, and we're just so boring walking.
That was my that was
year-old boy just outside. Like I just imagine that's what like 10-year-old boys do, like run out in the fields, try to get over things really quickly. Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Yeah. So that's what I would do. I would try to flip off of things. The dance major at our school noticed that I had flipping ability, and I could dance just because that's just part of my culture. I'm Filipino, we dance, like that's just the thing we do. So I have this ability to move well and to be acrobatic. After graduating university, I got an agent. It's actually funny. Same thing. The way I got my theatrical agent from that situation was I booked a show called Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots. It was at the La Jolla Playhouse, which is where they go to like build shows that they later take to Broadway. That agent took me on. That agent sent me on an audition for Le Rêve, which is like a Cirque du Soleil type show. And I'm like, what are you doing? Why am I going to do this? She's like, well, you like to flip. I was like, yeah, but I'm not. Like, these are Olympic athletes. Like, these are actual Olympic athletes. Why am I going to this? This is going to be a bit of a long story. I'll try to make it quick. So I go to the audition. I do well enough to where they want to bring me to the end. I couldn't do it because I was doing a play in San Francisco. While I was there preparing for that potential final call, I was around this Chinese acrobatic circus master. He was a Chinese acrobat, and his name is Master Lu Yi. He saw me flipping around. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, just flipping. And he was like, he was like, Master Lu Yi is the best. He's like, what do you want to do with your life? I was like, I don't know. This is cool. I have a shot at it because I'm going to go to this Le Rêve audition, like this callback. He was like, train with me 2 years. You'll get a circus. I'll get you into circus, or like, I'll get you a circus career. And I was like, okay, sure. I mean, I'm here, might as well. So I end up not doing that final Le Rêve call. They didn't bring me in for that, but I quit acting and I trained with him for 2 years. This man didn't ask for he didn't ask for a single penny from me. He asked nothing. All he did was he told me to keep showing up to his recreational class that he would teach, and he would focus on me. He trained me in Chinese pole, and it was really funny because I was like trying to flip all the time. He's like, no, stop, no good. He's like, do this. He would like make me like hold my hands out, and he would like make me get up on my tippy toes and just kind of do these like dumb exercises.
You had your own actual Mr. Mayagi.
Yeah, no, this is Karate Kid, but circus.
I was like, I mean, just picture you like with, waxing.
Yes, like slapsticks in the fly.
I was in a corner doing dumb exercises, and I was like, this is not going to help me. And I would get frustrated, and I would just go flip, like while he was gone, or I would just go do stuff, and he'd come back. He's like, what are you doing? I was like flipping, and he was like, you're too crazy. I can't teach you. He's like, you can't learn like this. And I'm like, I don't know how this is going to help me. Sorry. I'm just like, I've got it like a deadline. I'm supposed to be able to flip like all these like these like gymnasts, these competitive gymnasts, national team athletes, Olympic athletes. I'm supposed to be on like the same stage with them. How is this going to help me? He's like, you have no foundation. So he was just like, you are too crazy. So I was like, okay, I'll trust you. So I would like sit down, do the exercises, write down my notes in my journal. He would train me because I had to climb up and down this pole like every day. And slowly but surely he built my foundation. And I had enough skill and foundational ability to get into a show called Cirque du Mer, which later got me into Le Rêve, which later got me into Chris Angel's Mind Freak, which is a Cirque du Soleil show. And then last year, in July of 2019, or May of 2019, I left Chris Angel's show. And then I was like, I can put this all together, acrobatic ability and all that, and acting. I can go be a stunt performer. And so I took a few stunt courses down in LA, and then I just moved down, and then I started pursuing my career.
Wow. Okay. If anyone is watching this, they need to make a fucking film out of that.
Yeah.
That is like Karate Kid 5 or whatever, but without the karate.
Like adult Karate Kid, you know?
Yeah, it was a huge blessing. It was a really crazy story because every day I'd be like training with Master Lu Yi.
Do you find that you've got to have a certain mentality being a stuntman that you're not afraid to get hurt, or as you've got older, have you got the fear a little bit more?
What I would say is when it comes to being a stunt performer, I think there's a tendency to have, I wouldn't say no fear, but to have courage or bravery, or you get excited by like the thought of doing something exhilarating. Mm-hmm. You look forward to like the adrenaline rush of like, oh, that's gonna be fun, right? Or like if you know you're gonna get hurt, you're almost like, yeah, I'm ready. Like you kind of have to psych yourself out sometimes, but it's not like this no fear. There is no safety. Like stunt performers are professionals in safety. That's the point. That's why they hire us. Because if you're not, you're a daredevil, and daredevils they're not safe and they're not reliable, and they're a liability on set, and you can't have that. It stops everything. You need people who can do this stuff and mitigate the risk. Because I did a project actually over the pandemic where the director brought in his friends to do stunts. And I was like, so they're not stunt performers. He's like, no, but they're athletic. They're good. They're like athletic. They know how to box a little bit. And in my head, I'm like, that's thanks, man. Like, I was like, that's not how it works in stunts. It's not like, oh, you can just be athletic, so you can just walk on set and just be a stunt performer. But I tried to work with them, and I was like, all right, let's see what we can do. Let's try to make it happen. And during a walkthrough, one of the actors, a walkthrough is when you like walk through the choreography. It's like you're just doing it slowly. You don't need to act it out. You're just saying, okay, now this happens. Now this happens. One of the actors got like, I don't know, really into it, because there's a moment where he's supposed to kick a door and it's supposed to swing open and hit me in the face, right? And if you're walking through it, there's no need to kick the door. The actor kicks the door straight into my face during the walkthrough. He just kicks it, and then the door just goes wham. And I was like, oh, ow, like, why would you do that? We were walking through. He's like, I didn't know you were there. I was like, I was right here talking to you. So I had to go to the emergency or the urgent care and get it taken care of. So yeah, it's stunt people are some of the safest people on set, because that's their job. And it's about learning how to make things look painful or hard and still keep under control and be safe.
It makes me always want to be a stunt person, but I feel like, I mean, I watch your IG and all that, and I see how much work you put into it. So I can only imagine when you're like prepping for a movie or anything, how much it goes into it. So that was very insightful. I had no clue.
I really wanted to be a stunt performer when I was younger. And then I realized, like, I did martial arts and stuff, did horse riding. And then I realized that I don't like getting hurt. I don't have that mental capacity to take myself to the place where it's okay. Like, I bruise like a peach.
Yeah, that's you'll be getting a lot of bruises. I mean, there are two schools of thought around stunts right now. One school of thought, like an old stunt coordinator told me, is like, back in the day, it's like if you were hired on as a stunt performer, they're hiring your body. They're renting your body for the day, and you do what they say. He's like, you go for it, you do it. You try to protect yourself and have good air awareness, but ultimately you're there to do the stunt, and you better do it. And you better do it like full out. And then the new school of like the new outlook or the new culture surrounding stunts is about like, it's really about making sure we're safe. If you feel unsafe, always speak up. You should always be able to talk about how you feel about a stunt before you do it. If it's really scary, ultimately you have to do it and you have to be brave. But yeah, they're very safety minded. So both of those schools are very important, because you can't have a stuntman who's like, oh, I don't know, I don't feel safe. Like, because then at that point it's just like, well, why are you a stunt person? So it's about finding that balance between like, I'm here to do a job and to do it well. But there comes a point in time where it's like, this we need to think about this just a little bit more, because not everyone understands stunts. Not everyone understands what it is you're doing. And if you're the specialist in that arena, you need to be able to speak up and say, what the thing you're asking for right now need a little bit more time, and we can't do it at that speed, or the it's too hot, or the fires are too close for something like this. It could throw off the air pressure, and a plane could go, or a helicopter can go down. You know, people need to be able to speak up about things that they know well when it comes to safety. And sets have been really good about that. They really have. The coordinators, they're always asking how things are going. They check in. It's been really great.
It's amazing. It sounds so technical, doesn't it?
Well, it's like this culmination of everything up to this point in your life, like a culmination of everything like perfectly coming together.
It definitely feels like that. And it's like the perfect job for me too. Just because as much as I thought I changed dreams when I was like, I'm going to be a Cirque du Soleil acrobat. I was like, that's all I want now. I don't want to be an actor anymore. I'm not an actor. It's not my thing. It's over. And then when I was performing for Cirque, there were just times where I was like, I miss acting, and I miss being the storyteller, and I'm tired of just being the guy flipping around. Like, I want to be the person who's like, that the people either follow, or like I get to help tell the story. And yeah, so when I left Chris Angel's show, I actually got laid off. So like I didn't like leave on my own choice, but I say I left it because I sprung from it. It wasn't like I got laid off and then I was like waiting around for a while. It was like now it's time. Because I had just been working on stunt stuff up until then in my acting, because I just wanted to do it. And I was like, one day I'll leave this show and then I'll do this one day. We'll see. That one day became that day, because they laid me off that day. And I was like, I called my wife and I was just like, hey, I got laid off. She's like, oh my God, are you okay? Like, how's it going? I was like, I actually feel really good. And I was like, I think I'm going to do it now.
Was it due because of the coronavirus? Is that why they hit the layoffs?
No.
Oh, okay.
This happened last May. It feels like a year ago that coronavirus started.
No, but it's not. It's like
May of 2019.
Okay.
Like right before my birthday. It was great. But no, I mean, it truly, though, that was the greatest gift I could have ever received, because I would have continued to wait, right? Stayed in that show for my 2-year contract. And then if I had tried to get into stunts, like even around this time, it's really hard. I was able to get my name out there and to meet people last year because those restrictions weren't up. And we're just going to dive into how I started my career, if you don't mind, like it's just flowing into that. But the way stunt people sort of get recognized, or not recognized, but the way they meet people in the industry that could hire them is there's this thing that you do called hustling. What you do is, when you hustle a set, is you basically walk onto a set uninvited, and you're not allowed, really. You're like not supposed to be there, but you show up and you try to find the coordinator, and once you find them, you try to have an impromptu interview. Hopefully they want you there, or hopefully they don't mind having you there.
I need to hear more about how you just walk onto a set. Like,
walk on.
She's not going to do that.
Like, yeah, I'm going to walk into a set. No,
you figure out where they shoot. You figuring out. Sorry, what were you saying?
Well, I mean, like, do you just hear that there's a shoot going on, and you're just like, I'm just going to go there?
So there's a few resources. We have our ways of finding out.
Is there not like security? Like, I guess I'm used to Walking Dead, where it's like locked down tight, where it's like you can't
get
even
around security. You figure your way out.
So this is the thing that like stunt performers do.
I mean, it's not like you don't go onto studios. Like, you don't walk onto a studio lot and do it. But if they're shooting on location, security is not so tight that you can't get past them. And sometimes security gets it, because it's a pretty common thing. So like I've been known to walk up straight up to like a police officer that's like the police officer on set, or a security guy, and be like, hey, I'm just here to hustle this coordinator. Because they know that you're going to be in and you're going to be out. You're not going to cause any trouble. Like, that's typically how it goes.
You're not like a fan and being like, I want to see what's going on the show.
Exactly.
Like,
you're an industry professional, and like,
I'm gonna do my
I've had times where I've hustled sets, and they're not always receptive to it, but I've hustled sets where the PAs were super helpful. And then eventually I get hired onto that show, and then I see them. I'm like, hey, remember me? I hustled the set and you totally helped me out. And because of your help, I'm on the show now. And they're like, wow, that's so cool. Great. And then I've had security guards who were like really like mean to me. Like they're like dicks, and I hustled the set, but I did it anyway. I got around them. And then I ended up working that set another time later. And it's just kind of funny because it's like earlier they were trying to kick me off, or they were annoyed that I was there. And now I'm part of the team, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
I know. I didn't either. That's like so.
Neither did I till I got into stunts, and then
okay, so next time I want to stalk a celebrity, I'm so going to go on there and be like, no, I'm just hustling. I'll be fine. They were like, you don't look like a stunt performer. I'm the body double.
People come in all shapes and sizes, but like what I am trying to say though is that's definitely not going to be happening for a very long time, because the way things are now, you do not just step onto a set. I mean, the sets that I've worked since COVID, they barely wanted me on set. I'm supposed to be there, you know? So like, it's a lot. It's not going to happen for quite some time. So now it's just about your social media, really. Like it's getting that out there so that coordinators can see what you're up to, and they can keep their eyes on you, and profiles and word of mouth, really.
So did you, from doing the child acting and the commercials, did you get your SAG card from doing that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got my SAG card. So when I got onto my very first job, I was Taft Hartley. So when you're Tafted, I don't know if everyone knows how that works, but the argument is we needed, like, there were union actors available, but they couldn't do this. We needed this non-union player to do it. Mm-hmm. So what they do is they taft you, which is kind of like this provisional union representation, or that you're covered by the union for this job. And now if you decided to join the union, you could by just paying your dues, as opposed to people who have to like get like credits or something to eventually get into the union by working like as an extra in like certain jobs enough times, and then you get vouchers. That's what it is. You get vouchers.
Yeah, that's
vouchers or something. You can eventually join the union. Or what some people do is they write and produce their own SAG project by having a few SAG people on it, and then following all the requirements. By doing that, they can taft themselves. Like I had a friend who tafted her. She produced her own reel, like her acting reel, and then she tafted herself on it. And like, I'm not going to say how it should be done, you know, because I'm like, to say that union actors are any better than non-union actors or something like that isn't true, because they're just future union actors that are just non-union because it hasn't come along yet. You know what I mean? Right. It's just a matter of like, you got to get in the way you can, you know, because I know some actors are like, if you do it that way, you're not ready. But I'm like, if you work 3 extra jobs and you get a voucher, it doesn't mean you're ready either. But
that's the point of this podcast too, is to talk about how everybody's journey is so different. And then, you know, how there's not like, you do this, you do this, you do this, you check that off, and then you are a professional actor. You know, it's crazy how some people are brilliant actors and they don't make it very far or in a lot of things. And then there's some people that aren't that great, or perceived aren't that great. Cause I don't like to judge anyone's, you know.
I'll do it. Yeah. If you're not that great, you're not that
yeah. You know, their performance, things like that, but you know, and then they make it and you're like, how is that possible? It's so frustrating, but it's also what's beautiful, I think, about this industry too. It's just that there's just so many different ways. There's not a right or wrong. It's about luck. It's about who you know. It's about putting the work in, which you did. If that's taking 2 years off to like do this craft that may or may not pay off, like, I think that just really speaks volumes on the kind of like performer you are. You know what I mean? And so, you know, I know we've had a lot of questions and I feel like you've given us so much information, but another thing that we always like to touch base on is when you're doing those roles, is the sides and, you know, and then how you go about prepping for that? I mean, how do you do that with your stunts? How do you do that with preparing for a role?
So it's what I always try to do is when I prepare sides or a full script at the very end of the day, like this goes for auditions, this goes for anything, like what do I want? You know what I mean? Like, what's my motivation? Like you hear that joke all the time, but it's really true. It's kind of like your true north. Like, why am I here? Like, what does my character actually, what am I trying to accomplish? Because I could sit here, say these lines in so many different ways. Do I say it like this? Do I say it like this? Or maybe like this? You know what I mean? You can play around with how it sounds all day, but accomplish nothing if you don't actually know what you're trying to accomplish. So the reason, forgive me for like going all over the place, but ultimately what I'm trying to say is you may get a full script, you may barely get any of your script.
Yeah.
On when we were shooting.
Sorry.
Oh yeah. I was just gonna say when we were shooting the finale, if my oh man, I don't even know if I can say this, but basically I didn't get my lines till like that day, and there were a few lines that I was just like, oh shoot, okay, and the only thing you can do at that point when you get it that fast is be like, okay, what's happening? Like, what is going on? What are the circumstances? And what am I trying to do? Like, what do I need from these people? Why am I actually talking to them? Because I could ignore them. So what's bringing me here? Why does this interaction have to take place? Because then once you know what you're trying to accomplish, you know what you're playing, right? I hope that makes sense.
No, it made really good sense. And going back to like auditioning, kind of like a side topic is, because Ashley had an audition just the other day, and she had a wonderful story about getting jizzed in the eye with hand sanitizer. And we didn't know like if you had a audition story that was like, oh my God, like I can't believe this happened, like outside the room, in the room, on the way.
Yeah. I've got a few. I've got a few of those. So okay, bad audition stories. And there are a few really bad ones, but I'm thinking about them. I'm like, oh.
Do it.
Kind of recently when I was on my way out of performing in Vegas, I auditioned for for this like student short film, whatever, you know. I go down and I audition and I do the scene, right? And I remember like I know in Meisner a lot of it's about like actions and doing things literally, because acting is, you know, like when you're doing something, you're not thinking about, am I doing this well? You just do it. So I'm supposed to be a doctor consoling someone, and I brought in a prop. It was some tissues, and my character's a little awkward, right? He's supposed to feel a bit awkward because he's new, and he has to tell someone that their person died, right? So I do it without the prop, and I do it, and it's okay, you know. It's a short scene, and it's awkward because I'm awkward, but it's awkward because it was poorly acted, I'm pretty sure. And then they're like, okay, great. Is there anything else you want to like try? Do you want to do it again? And I was like, yeah, actually I brought like a prop. I had like an idea. So I bring in the prop, and it's like a box of tissues, and I do the line again. It's almost like, I'm sorry about your loss. And I was just like, sorry about your loss. And I just take it. I was like, I just sort of like push it forward. I don't know what I was thinking or why I thought this would work. And I think I wanted to kind of make it awkward, like kind of like, here you go. But it's just, it wasn't worth the payoff wasn't worth it. And that I was going for awkward, and it definitely was awkward, but not awkward in a good way. So they were sitting there like watching, and I was like, and like and I think they were just expecting something different, but it was just like same scene again, now holding a tissue box.
You know what? When you left that room, your name, tissue box guy, definitely got brought up.
Oh,
anything, sure. That's half of it. You might not have got that job, but maybe they're like, you know what? We have an awkward tissue guy that we can get.
If they ever do a Kleenex commercial, you are their man. Definitely.
Maybe. I don't even know if Kleenex would want that. I didn't sell the tissues. It was more just like, I mean, I didn't sell it in a way that's like, yeah, you want this tissue. It was more like,
Have a tissue.
Yeah, and it was like usually you'd think it'd be like that's gold, that's perfect, that's what they wanted, but it wasn't like the scene wasn't so awkward that it needed to be like that. It was just
you just piled on some extra sprinkling of awkward.
After like I did it, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna
go. I'll see myself out.
Yeah, I knew you're never gonna hear back from them. You're just like, yeah.
Anytime.
I saw your audition or part of it for the All Mankind that's coming up. Or on IG. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm making that up.
No, yeah, I don't.
How did you get into that? Like, how did you? Because you know what? No, I'm thinking of something else. Sorry, I'm thinking of a Cheetah one when you were
the rookie.
Rookies. How did you get?
Yeah.
How did you prep for that? I guess, if you don't mind sharing.
Okay. Yeah, the way I prepped for it. Okay. Yeah, this is actually, I think, would be a helpful audition story. So it's like 3 lines or something, right? There's not a lot to it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just sort of like, oh God, like there's a dead body, like, oh God, so gross, like, and like they're like, put your hands on the ground, okay, like, what'd you see? Dead body. It's very like, it's a functional little part just to help move the story along, you know. And everyone's like, there are no little parts, and that's true, right? But in those parts, it's some of the hardest things to work on because there's nothing there.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say I didn't go and figure out this kid's life or why he's a thief and like why he does this and like what has caused him. Does he have a drug addiction? Like I didn't do any of that. Like, and all I kind of did was in that scene, I knew that they needed this guy to be really grossed out by a dead body, right? And so I was like, when I'm grossed out, I need comfort, right? Or I need to like release the grossness to someone that can kind of help me calm down, right? So I needed these cops to protect me from the dead body, right? Even though I'm running away from them, now I need their help. So it's kind of like, I guess objectively, I was just sort of like, okay, I need their help, or I'm fleeing to them for comfort. I need comfort. And so it's like, what do I do to get that comfort, right? Do I ask them, or do I implore them? Do I sort of find these like verbs that I know kind of once it matches the energy of what I need that scene to be, I know I can play it because I know what it's like to like really beg someone, like please, like if you're begging someone or something, you know. So I had a small general understanding of what my objective was, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's such a short scene and there's not a lot of dialogue. So my objective, I may be clear on that, but the scene wasn't so much about that objective as it was about the state, right?
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, I was always like, no, the objective's everything. I mean, I didn't really need them to save me. It was enough for me to jump out of where I was and go to them.
I thought it was a really cool approach to like, because you think of most auditions, you come in and you're like, you know, and then you do your lines or whatever, but you literally threw your body into the, that was really cool.
I ran into frame in this self-tape. And what's happening is I was like, this guy needs to be so disgusted and grossed out because that's what's going to sell this moment. Like it has to be a moment where he's so grossed out and like he has a phobia of dead bodies, or I imagine seeing a dead body like would be really freaking gross. And you just need anybody, even if they're a cop, you would rather risk going to prison or like going to jail over being around that any longer. So I knew I had to be terrified of that. That needed like objective, get the hell away from that. Somebody saved me from that. So my moment before was like, before that, when I would hit record and before I would run in, I was like, I would just get grossed out, or I would just like start to squirm, like, oh God. And so I ran in fully loaded with this feeling of like, get that away.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next scene is like, oh shit, like hands up, what's happening? And then I'm like, oh God, I'm going to puke. Cause then the line says I'm going to puke. And I was like, well, I need to convincingly look like I'm going to throw up. So I started to gag really hard. And then when I was leaving, I was like, this isn't so heavy and serious. So like, I ad-libbed on the way out, like, oh God, it's so gross. Oh gee, oh God. Like, it's just like little stuff like that. But yeah, I got to meet the writer of that episode. And he told me, he's like, we liked your tape because it made us laugh. Like, we thought it was funny. Like, sometimes
question too, do you always put a little ad lib in there? Because I feel like that's like, some people are like, yeah, do like a hook or an ad lib in it to kind of bring it to your own, or are you like most of the time strictly by the book? Like,
no, I mean,
the scene
it's a case. Yeah, think of it like a case by case thing. If you feel like when I do things, when I feel like it would be really like it would work, then I do it. Because like what I think about it is this: it's like if you go to like a designer, right, and you're like designing your home, and you're looking at a few designers to see how they would design your room. They're going to bring what they have, and you might have stipulations like, I really want it to be like this, because you think you know what you want. If a designer comes in and is like, actually, I think I'm going to do this because I see it being more like this, that's what I see, because it's me as the artist wants to bring that. They might be like, no, that's not really what I want. Or they might be like, oh, that's different. I like that. Because the way I see it is like, chances are I'm not going to get cast. I walk into an audition thinking, you're probably not going to hire me. You might already have someone already in mind. This might be a formality, or you might want me. But if you want me, you're going to get the version that I want to do, and the way I feel like it's best portrayed through my vessel. Do you know what I mean? If that requires ad-libbing, yeah. Do all of them require ad-libbing? No. But does it hurt to add in a little thing that sort of like makes it more uniquely you, that doesn't change the script, but it reveals a bit of character? I would say go for it.
I guess they see hundreds of tapes, don't they? And I guess if you can do something that sets you apart a little bit from everybody else, puts a little bit more unique personality in it, then that's only going to be a good thing, isn't it?
Right. Because I mean, it's not like it's not such an offense to like add a little thing there, a little thing, a little hook, you know. It's not going to be with the writers like, that's not what I wrote. You know, like I doubt they're going to be so upset with that. It's just a little bit, especially, I mean, the thing is also like, if you're going to do it, make sure it counts. Don't do it for the sake of doing it. It's got to count. Like, it's got to be something that's like, oh yeah, this is a good decision because it's a choice. You know, I'm doing this because this reveals his age. Like the reason why I did it that way, like the reason why I ad-libbed what I ad-libbed, the choice behind that was, it allows them to really see how this kid is absolutely grossed out by dead bodies. He is so grossed out and he can't get it out of his head. And it's endearing because he's like a little thief, you know, he's a criminal, but he's just like, oh, dead bodies. No. Oh God. Oh. And like the way I did it was like, it makes him seem very young, kind of immature and likable. There's a likable thing about someone being grossed out and they can't let it go. Just like, oh God, I can't believe I saw that. Like, it's endearing because it's a vulnerable place.
So when you're doing your self-tapes, do you ever do them and are you just like, damn it, I just cannot get it right? Do you just keep doing it, or do you just stop, walk away, do something else, come back? Like how many, like I know like Andrew in our classes said that he never does more than like a handful of self-tapes because then it just.
Yeah. There comes a point in time where you it'll look the same every time, maybe just a little different, but in your head, you're telling it it's different. This is what I do. This might be complete trash to other people, but this helps me kind of like orchestrate this song I've created, or like this, you know, this little story, knowing what I want, right? Knowing kind of where I want to take it here. Oh, this is a moment here that I know I want. That way, it's almost like in a fight scene. If you're going to do a stunt fight scene, I know I'm supposed to duck here because he's punching here. His ribs are exposed here. So I want to slam him there, which brings him down, which makes me want to give him an uppercut, right? The logic of the fight. You have the logic of the scene. So I'm trying to give you two things at once, right? So I'm getting the logic down of what it is that I want to do. That way, when I step in front of that camera, when it's time, when I hit record and I know what I want to do, I know where I want to go with it. That way, when I stop, when I cut and I review it, what was did these decisions make sense? Am I seeing the story? Am I seeing this character enough? Right? do I feel like they're in a place? Do I feel like they're a real person? And do I feel like I'm serving the writer in that, what I think he was trying to create, you know? Like I was saying, when I was like orchestrating, like I want to set this thing up to make it drop here, right? Kind of the logic of the fight, logic of the scene. So that's what I try to do. So when it comes down to the question, right, that you asked of like, how many takes do I do? Andrew, I think is absolutely spot on when you do not want to beat it to death. Because if you get to a point where it's starting to like, you're getting frazzled, because I had that happen a few times. Walk away, forget it for a second, talk about other things. Because most every self-tape now that I send in, I'm like, yeah, I'd cast that. I like it. I like what I did. And sometimes it's not perfect. Like sometimes I'm like, I don't like that moment there. But overall, yeah, I like it. Because sometimes if you try to get little moments, like a little moment perfect, like it was all good except that moment, I'm going to try to do it. I'm trying to get that one right. You might get it right, but you might botch like 3 other things. So it's almost like good enough is enough because you're sending in a sketch, right? The audition is your sketch. Person's like, I want this character. So you sketch it out from, what do you think of this character? You're not like, this needs to be a perfect drawing all the time.
Chris, I feel like if you just decide you don't want to do acting anymore, if you want to be my life coach, I mean, just throw that in there. I feel like you would just be so good at it. I feel like I just need to like have a notepad right now and be like, yes, that's right. I should do that. Thank you.
And I was like, that was such a great like way to discuss it and present it. I'm like, damn, that's deep.
I'm glad because I was like, man, in my head, I'm like, you want to wrap this up, Chris? Or you just
no, I almost hate that I stopped you because I literally have a pen and I have a notepad over here and I'm like, yes, that's right. I mean, not that I could not listen back to this. I guess I should have been in the moment, but
that was a really, really good way of describing it. Yeah, I think that's going to be really helpful for people who are watching this and who are just unsure as to how to approach a self-tape. I mean, that's just all 3 of us were kind of a little bit enthralled there.
Yeah.
But it was a beautiful way of putting it. Thank you very, very much.
I mean, this is coming from a guy who doesn't book a lot. So I mean, like, it's just sort of like, I don't know how much stock you want to put into this.
No, you've done great.
Listen, someone told me that maybe I was listening to another podcast, but like for every like 40 or 50 no's you get, you'll get 1 yes. Do you know what I mean? Like one person that gets you. So I try to think of it as like 40 or 50 practices till I get my yes. And I think that what you're saying is like great practice for getting that.
Absolutely. Like I'm going to swear, but I mean, you gotta have like a
swear friendly podcast here.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've already said fuck, I'm sure.
I'm going to say a really bad word. No, but I mean, like, you gotta have a fuck it mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
In every aspect of this industry. Like, you can't face the music. You can't look at the facts because if you do, you are statistically not going to make it. It's not gonna work out for you. There's no reason why you think this is a good investment or a good like industry to start down if you look at the facts. But the people that I think that stick with it are the ones who are like, yeah, I know, but I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck it. This is what I'm doing and this is what I want to do. Because those people tend to take those creative liberties that people respect, because it's not about bowing to the wishes of the director and the writer all the time so that they can have what they want. They don't know what they want all the time. They have an idea, but you can change their mind. And if you are so set on like, if you were like, I really like what I came up with, and you present it to them, they may be like, that's not what we want. That's okay. Because I never could have been what you wanted. Because that's not what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As Andrew really likes to say, it's not your job to get the job, it's your job to do the work. So there could be a million reasons as to why you'd never get the role. But I guess if you're happy and you're confident in every self-tape that you send, or everyone that you can be confident in, then I guess the no doesn't affect you as much if you know that you've done what you set out to do and you're happy with the version that you've put in. No. I guess it just makes it easier on the ego.
Absolutely. I used to be terrified of self-tapes and even auditions, like when I was younger, especially because I wasn't as comfortable and I didn't know what I was doing. But now I'm just sort of like, I get an opportunity to dig into something and like live in another world even just in my imagination, and portray that even for a bit, and just sort of like, this is what I came up with, you know, like here it is, you know, that audition is that chance to work on something. And actors, we crave an audience. Here's your opportunity for an audience. Yes, they're not in front of you, but you get to design something for some people that get to be your audience even for just a moment. It's like when you create content or something, like people on like Instagram and TikTok and YouTube or whatever. I don't do that, but like I imagine it's sort of like you're throwing it out there. Yes, it's more like there's more instant gratification in terms of likes and comments right away. But as actors, we're doing it for someone as a gift. This is for you. This is what I want to give you. And that's, I don't know. I mean, at my stage in my career, I'm happy to do it. If you're down the line and you're a pretty famous actor, you're not going to be doing that shit for free anymore. You're not giving gifts away like that. But for me, I'm new and I'm trying to like get in, and I'm happy to do every self-tape because it's an opportunity, one, to train self-tapes, because that is a craft in itself.
Mm-hmm. We're learning. Yeah.
I feel like with today, and just with COVID, it like has allowed definitely more practice with the self-tapes than I think we would ever had before. But I think it also gives you that opportunity to do your own work, which I think wasn't that prevalent in the field. Again, I'm just getting in, so I don't know, but I feel like it's just a lot more people doing it now, doing your own work. What do you want to see yourself in? What gift do you want to give in your world? So I think that's really cool. And I think that try to come out with the positives of this year and of this business. So whether you get to be a super famous actor, you can create your own work now, and you can give that gift out and you can be proud of it. So I think that's something that's really cool.
I think one of the things that what's a sad thing, I think that people place on actors are like, oh, you're an actor. Well, I mean, I think it's fair. Like, what, do I know you from anything? Like, is there anything I can see to see your work? I get that. But also this idea where actors feel like they're not actors unless they're actually in something that's, you know, widely viewed or something. It's like, you can be an actor always. Mm-hmm. Like, you can act in anything. Like, you shouldn't have to need permission to act. Mm-hmm. You know, if it's something you want to do and you can create your own stuff, do that, because it's going to fill the need of being an actor. Like, writing and doing your own projects, it feels like you're on set, because I produced and wrote some of my own stuff. Mm-hmm. And I will tell you, being on set of my own set feels very similar to being on a big set. I mean, there are far less people and I'm way more stressed out when it's my own thing. But like, when you create your own work, you don't feel like you're not working, because you are working. And in fact, you're almost more invested because you've put so much into it. Like, it's so fulfilling to like create something that you're like, yeah, that's what I came up with. That's from my mind, and now it's out here, and now like everyone can see it. Like, there's pride there. And I think it's awesome that people can make livings doing that, you know, just creating their own stuff. Because it doesn't have to be crazy big or anything. You can do little thing. Like, I have little shorts that I wrote and did. They are stupid. They're so dumb, but I love them. I watch them all the time to make myself crack up. I'm like, I'm funny. Like, me and my friends.
I think that a lot of people are going to that too. Like, I think that those are coming popular, like short films, I think, or like, you know, YouTube videos. I think that just has such an audience now. So I think that that's another, you know, outlet for actors, you know, whether, I know me personally, and I know that Keira and Heather and I have talked about, like, whether we become famous or not, I just like being around like-minded people. I love having like these types of discussions. I love talking and learning, and it's just a great outlet. So a nice community, if you will.
Yeah. And the idea of fame, or like, you know, what is success as an actor? Like, for me, my success as an actor is what I already have. I look back on what I was able to accomplish this past year, and I'm like, hey, I made it. I'm successful, to me. Other people will be like, no, you're an idiot. You just started. But to me, I'm just sort of like, I paid my bills. I got healthcare. I got my name out there. I got credits. I did projects that I was happy in. I met people that I care about. I've learned new skills. I'm happy. I'm successful. And because I'm proud to do what I do, and I'm happy in what I do. And And it's opened my mind up to new possibilities and things that I want to do now or work on. And like, that's success to me. You know, I mean, people may never know who I am.
And this year you
will never. What was that?
And this year you joined the actors community where you met us three.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and like, no, and this is really true. I have so many friends in the UK now that feel like family and that I care about. Like, we may not talk all the time, but they know, and I know, like, we care about each other. Like, that's successful to me. Like, and it's not me trying to be like, yeah, no, I'm successful, right? No, it's like, I'm so fulfilled and happy because I look at famous people like those child actors that had success from go. They had success in the way we all want success and the way we see success. But you look at their lives at the end of the day and the way people see them sometimes, which is completely unfair. And it's just sort of like, I don't want that. The life that I have, I'm privy to, I would rather have that life, this life where I can kind of live my own happy little private life. It's not all out there for everyone to see. I make a living. I'm happy. I get to buy things that I want, you know, I got to save up sometimes. I got, you know, like it's just, I've made my living and I'm happy, you know?
I think that's just such a beautiful way to view it all, that you're an actor regardless of what you've done. You don't have to make it big to be an actor. You can be an actor and do your own stuff. You can be an actor and do nothing. And it's a really inspiring and positive message to put out there, I think, because a lot of people will be, I see a lot of people will be watching this. Maybe one person might watch it. Maybe my mum might watch it. Your mum.
Here's mom.
It really.
Hi, moms.
Hi, mom. Yeah, it's a really nice message to put out there, and I think that's a really lovely place to end because we've kept you talking a long time. We've kept we've taken up most of your Monday. But
no, it's okay. I'm happy to do it because I love to talk and I love to like talk about things that I care about and people that my friends, you know.
Well, you've been absolutely fascinating. It's been so good. So your next thing coming out is For All Mankind, yeah?
Yeah, For All Mankind season 2.
That's on Apple TV and it's February the 19th. And that's by the same producers as Outlander, isn't it? And Battlestar. That's like big names.
Yeah, no, this project, I mean, like, I remember one of the questions, like, what are you most proud of? This. like the thing I was able to do, you know, like, this show is so high budget. They put so much money into this. Apple TV, because it's Apple TV Plus, and Apple, you know, they're the technology company. Like, you know, they're not gonna like hold back on like all that, and like just being.
The trailer looks amazing. I was watching, and there's good names in there, isn't there?
Yeah. There's, I mean, and they're all cool people too. Yeah. They're all like super nice. Like the set was a happy set. You know, like I love being there, and
it's always good when the set is happy. And again, I haven't been on sets, but like when you know,
get it. Like,
the set is good. I feel like the show is better. As we end this, is there anything that you would like to say at the ending? Anything other than where we can see you on February 19th? Anything you would
follow you on social media?
So you can follow me at Hey Chris Cortez. My name is ChrisCortez, and the hey is like hey Chris Cortez. That's all it is. Hey Chris Cortez. So that's my Instagram, and that's like all I have. So.
Okay. No, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's all you'll find.
So thank you so much, Chris. You've been freaking awesome.
Bye, Chris. Thank you.